it going? My name's Lena and welcome to my garden. How's your summer been so far? Mine's been great. Things started out a little bit hot and dry in the months of May and June, but over the last weekend we had a little bit of rain, which was really nice and much needed for the area. I live in Zone 8B in the Pacific Northwest of Washington State, by the way. And as we are entering the third week of June of 2023 right now, I think today's a good day for me to show you guys what's going on in my garden at the moment. It's kind of a cool summer's day. I think it's about 70 degrees outside, and it's a little bit cloudy. It's like a part sun, part shade situation going on in the garden, which I like because I think the colors of the flowers show better on camera when it's not too bright out. But it's a little bit windy, and I really hope that it doesn't affect the sound quality of my video too much. We're gonna start in this general area because this is where I have the most amount of roses growing, and they're in bloom right now, looking really lovely. We're gonna begin with this beautiful climber behind me here. This is Strawberry Hill that I have growing on a trellis that's leaning against my fence. My fence is about 6 foot tall, so right now Strawberry Hill is standing at around 7 feet, and this is quite a young rose because I just got it last year in spring, so it's only second year of it being in the ground, and for it to, you know, look this lush and beautiful, I'm really happy with Strawberry Hill. Before I go on, I should let you know that my garden is kind of, well, relatively young still, I would say. I started this 5 years ago, so everything is kind of on their 4th and 5th growing season. And we're gonna only focus on things that are in bloom right now, because if I talk about everything that I have growing here, I'm gonna be here all day and I'll bore you to death. So let's take a closer look at Strawberry Hill from David Austin because she's really lovely. Here's a front view of Strawberry Hill that is growing on my fan-shaped trellis. This rose is a little bit bare at the base of the plant, but not too bad. It's got a few blooms going on towards the very bottom, and then this beautiful bloom right here. I really love the shade of pink of Strawberry Hill. This is when the bloom first opens. It has like a kind of very light coral tone to it, or apricot, like very light apricot, but as it opens up more and more, it'll turn like this pink, which is kind of like a true pink color. Blooms last for, I think, like 2-3 days, because I remember coming out here yesterday or 2 days ago enjoying this particular bloom, and it's still here on the stem. So blooms last quite a few days. Smells lovely as well. Usually flowers in clusters of like 3, 4, maybe up to 6 flowers at a time, and the flowers are kind of medium sized, I would say, maybe like 3-4 inches across. I really love this rose's flowering habit. Very attractive, and a very nice healthy rose. Nice green leaves that are a little bit darker. So that's Strawberry Hill. And since we're on the subject of climbing rose, let me show you 2 more that I have going on this fence here. This is a red, or like very deep pink rose. It's almost red. This is Tess of the D'Urbervilles, and this is also a 2nd year's rose, but I had to transplant it from a different spot in the garden because where I had it growing before last year, it got shaded out by other shrubs around it, so it didn't really grow well in its first year, but that was completely my fault. And then over here I have another climber, and this is a very vigorous grower. This is Bathsheba. And as you could see, like, it's like so many stems and lots of leaves. even at the towards the bottom of the plant. And Bathsheba has a very nice blooms that are kind of creamy yellow towards the outer petals, but then in the center you have this like kind of light apricot shade, or like a deeper yellow shade going. Bathsheba has like kind of a cup-shaped blooms, and I'm not sure how long the blooms last because I haven't really noticed. Still hasn't really come out into full bloom yet, unlike Strawberry Hill. But the blooms are really nice. Alright, so those are my 3 climbers that I have on this fence. I bought more climbers from David Austin this year, but they're like first year's rows, so they're not interesting to look at right now. Let me show you these 2 roses that I have growing in these containers. This yellow rose is rolled down, and it's a very healthy, very vigorous bloomer. Take a look at the blooms here. Blooms are smaller compared to other roses, but they have very nice, you know, kind of yellow shade to it. Makes you feel happy when you look at it, and it produces prolific buds. Like, I can't even count the number of buds on this rose, probably hundreds. And every year it has been blooming for me like this for 3 years now. I think this is going on, it's either 3rd or 4th, I don't remember. And then I have another climber right here, but it's not a rose. This is a honeysuckle. I forget the variety's name, but it's got this kind of like yellow pink flowers that look very interesting. I really hope that honeysuckle doesn't turn out to be invasive, you guys, because I kind of read kind of, you know, conflicting information on the internet. Some pages will say honeysuckle is invasive, but some will say, oh, it depends on the variety. So we'll see. But I really like how it looks right now. And right here, this is Carding Mill. If you are into apricot rose, you're gonna love Carding Mill because, you know, it's really beautiful. And I like how it blooms. It has kind of like an open form, not so much cup-shaped, but like, what do you call that? Like saucer-shaped rose. Really nice color. Blooms can get quite big, like maybe 4 inches across, and it has like an upright, taller growth habit. It just wants to grow tall compared to rolled down. Rolled down has like a bushier, like shorter but bushier growth, like rounder, bushier growth. While Carding Mill is kind of like tall, slender, thinner, and less flowers. But flowers are bigger compared to rolled down. Alright, let's take a look at more roses, because they're kind of in this area. In this flower bed, I have a lot of pink and purple and blue flowers growing. Right here, this is the Ancient Mariner in its 3rd year. Beautiful flowers, kind of like cup-shaped, and it has like a softer shade of pink, especially when compared to Gabriel Oak, which is right next to it. Gabriel Oak is a bright pink rose that is quite beautiful, but my Gabriel Oak is a little bit weak, you guys, because I'm not sure if I mentioned that I think I did a video on this. So I planted it in this spot, and it was waterlogged for like a couple of weeks, and it almost died actually. It turned yellow, and then I came out and then I saved it in time, and then I, you know, had to amend the soil like crazy in here. But the flowers are really beautiful. I say my Gabriel oak is a little bit weak because the stems are not as strong. It's kind of like quite thin, and they're not able to hold the weight of the flowers. So I kind of, you know, like help it along a bit with the support to kind of keep the heads up. And then right here, this tiny little purple flowers, this is perennial geraniums that I love, and I have them growing in different spots in the yard. As we go on, like, you'll notice that I have a lot of purple flowers growing in between the flowering shrubs because I really like them. I never knew that subconsciously, you know, but I've come to find out that I love purple flowers because I have a lot of salvias, catmint, lavender, and then this purple geraniums. But right here, this is Eustacia Vi from David Austin. And Eustacia Vi is such a romantic colored rose. Oh, I love this rose. I love this rose so much. It is kind of like a light pink with apricot center. Oh, it's gorgeous. Look at that. And I love the shape of the blooms as well. I love blooms that are more saucer shaped than cup shaped, because the flowers tend to look bigger as they open. Alright, so my pink roses there. And then in this spot, I've got lavender and salvias. This area used to be the spot for bachelor's button. If I have a picture, if I can find a picture, I'll insert it here. But bachelor's button turns out to be very invasive. Like, when I first bought it, it was like the size of this salvia. But in just one season, it grew probably 4 times its size, and it really crowded out my other plants, and I had to remove it. So instead, I planted this purple salvia. Check out the flowers. Wonderful purple color. I love that shade. This is also salvia. I forget the variety's names right now, but I will look it up and I will put it up on the screen when I edit the video. But I love it. And I love bees. I love having bees in my garden. So salvias are the plants that bees really love, together with lavender and catmint. You'll see a lot of these in my garden. And then over here, I've got some ground cover going. This is dead nettles, I think. And bees love this flower as well, you guys. It's beautiful ground cover. I love this. And then this plant, my goodness, I forget the name. Have it on the tip of my tongue here. But it's got this, you know, nice little bright pink color. Okay, let's move on to this bed. This one is more like yellow, oranges, and some reds, but the reds haven't popped up yet. This is wild daisy that is a volunteer plant, and I have mixed feelings about this plant. I'm not sure if I want to keep it or remove it. Is it going to be invasive in my garden? We'll see. But for now, I'm gonna let it go because I saw you know, a few bees, you know, taking advantage of this plant, and so for now it's okay, but I might remove it later. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Are wild daisies invasive? And then I have it growing next to columbine. Columbine, I love this plant because bees love it, and it's a native plant to my area, and it's got such unique and gorgeous flowers that look so delicate and nice, especially when the wind blows. There you go. Down here I've got some yellow wallflower, and I think this is, what is the name of this plant? Yarrow plant, right? So lots of yellows here. Some more yellow right here. This is a rose called Molyneux, also from David Austin. It's got this bright yellow tone going, and it fades out to like a creamier yellow as it opens up. I have it growing next to Lady of Shalott, which is an orange rose. It's a really nice rose as well. This rose grows tall, almost 5 feet right now. One tiny little ladybug. I love ladybugs, and I see more and more of them in my garden this year especially. I love them. Next to Lady of Shalott, I have Golden Celebration. And Golden Celebration is a beautiful yellow rose that has nice, strong fragrance. I really love this rose. The only downfall is that the flowers can get quite heavy sometimes, that the branches will droop a bit when in full bloom. So you might need to give this rose a little bit of support, you know, from time to time. Flower is quite large. Okay, what else? Let's walk towards this corner here. And right now I'm sitting in an area that is the furthest away from my patio. I didn't used to like this area much, didn't come out here much because it used to be quite bare. When I started my garden 5 years ago, I worked on my patio first, which is in that direction there. And then over the years, I kind of worked my way along the fence towards this area here. And right now that it's, you know, kind of filling up a little bit with beautiful blooms, I come out here a lot more, and I'm loving it, you know, more and more every day. To my left, I have this beautiful light purple catmint growing in front of this beautiful mid-pink rose called Bosco Bell from David Austin. And to my right, I have this purple Spanish lavender growing together with this beautiful red rose. This is a Canadian rose called Never Alone. And directly behind me, this is a shrub, a Japanese dappled willow shrub. This is a variety called Hakuro Nishiki. Some people call them flamingo willows because of their, you know, this beautiful tricolor effect. I'm not sure if it shows well on the camera, but you can see that it's got this like pink and salmony tips going on, and they've got like dappled willow, dappled leaves. On that trellis behind Bosco Bell are two clematis plants that have just finished blooming, but I'm going to insert a clip of when it was in bloom because it was looking really nice. Alright, now let's make our way towards my patio because there are a few more things that we can see there. This beautiful brightly colored rose that you see here, this coral rose, I think this is a Top Gun rose or a knockout rose that I have growing in this container, and I have another container on the other side with a similar rose that is red. But here we're going to take a look at another one of David Austin roses in my garden. This is Emily Bronte, and Emily Bronte is a very romantic rose, and her color kind of depends on how strong the sun is. When she first opens, you'll see like a pink and very light apricot in the center, with like almost white outer petals. And as she opens up more and more, as she matures, she will turn like whiter and whiter. And if the sun is really strong, how I feel anyway, she turns like completely white. So it really depends. With this rose, you never know what you're gonna get. But it is a very beautiful rose all the same. Oh, the sun's coming out. Nice. And then this area is kind of new, so it's a little bit bare. I have my first year Gertrude Jekyll growing here, and it's starting to bloom a little bit. Alright, and we're gonna make our way towards this direction. This section is so cute. I really like looking at it. I have some more purple perennial geranium growing, and it's kind of growing in front of this spirea bush. And when it's in flower, bees really love this shrub. I don't see a lot of bees today because of the weather, I think, but I see a few bees here. I have these flowers growing in between heavenly bamboo that are growing in between my emerald green arborvitaes. And let's go here. Oh, and right in the middle of my yard, I have a Japanese maple tree. This is bloodgood Japanese maple. And check out these cute little annual dahlia that I picked up from Lowe's the other day. Such beautiful pink. I'm a sucker for pink and purple flowers, you guys. If I don't control myself, I'll have a garden full of nothing but pink and purple flowers. And right now I'm on the other side of the yard. This is an area that is the closest to my patio. So when I started gardening, this was an area that I worked on first. So it's a little bit more established. To my left, I've got white hydrangea growing in between my emerald green arborvitaes. And then in this area, I have some more Japanese dappled willows growing, and a few flowering shrubs in between. Right behind me, this is a bright and bold red rose that comes back reliably for me every year, and every year it blooms bigger and bolder. This is a knockout rose that I have growing in the container that is slightly smaller compared to where I have rolled out and carding mill in on the other side, and this is like going on its third year's blooms, I think. I really love this rose. Gives me a reliable color every year. I've got quite a few Japanese dappled willows, as you can notice. I have 4 of these shrubs. I'm sorry, I have 6 of these shrubs going in the yard. 2 of them are in a tree form and 4 of them are in a shrub form. In that chair right there, that's where I normally sit in the morning sipping my coffee. And right now I have quite a few things blooming around it. So let's go closer and take a look at what's going on. Alright, let's see what we got here. I've got some Jabera daisies growing in these containers just to make sure I have, like, you know, pops of color going all season long. And I have 2 roses here. This is La Petite Prince, which is a lavender rose. I see a couple of blooms, but they haven't opened yet. Down here I have some catmint growing next to wallflower and some purple salvia. Right here in this bed I have this beautiful velvety deep red rose called Munstead Wood, and Munstead Wood has such like nice color, and I have it growing together with perennial geranium. These purple flowers they really grow well with anything and everything. And back here, I used to have, well, there was this bloom of this clematis that is kind of like similar color to Munstead wood, but I see that the bloom just faded and fell down. Oh, there's a tiny little bloom down here. Let me see if I can reach it. There you go. I have this clematis growing, and I'm trying to train it to climb up this peach tree of mine that is not doing too well this year. It might be dying actually. Well, I got some leaves at the end there. But I thought that this clematis would complement my rose, my Munstead wood rose, well, because they are similar color. There you go. You're supposed to grow up here. Okay. Back there, some oriental lilies that are about to come into bloom here soon. Down here, I have some hellebores that, are very reliable, especially in the colder months, because they just look great. They're evergreen and they flower in the winter. So I love that. Last but not least is this corner that I have going on right outside of my kitchen and dining room window. To my right is a beautiful evergreen shrub called Ceanothus, or Victoria California lilac. It's been in bloom for about 2 weeks now, fully covered with these beautiful clusters of electric blue flowers, and it's an absolute bee magnet. If you love bees, or if you're growing your garden for pollinators, you will love this shrub. Behind me I have a couple more roses growing in containers, and right there is Cape Harris magnolia tree. I make sure that I have some evergreen trees and shrubs growing outside my window, so when I look out in the winter months, when there's not much happening in the garden, I will at least see some evergreen things kind of still standing strong. So I really like that about this corner. I have 2 Victoria California lilacs growing on each side of my patio, and you could probably see another one there at the very end there. And when they're in bloom, which is usually in the month of June, they're absolutely magnificent. I love looking at them. If you don't like bees, or if you're allergic to bees, you don't want to have this shrub, or you don't want to grow it anywhere near your seating area. Let's take a look at these beautiful David Austin roses that I have growing in these containers. The sun's kind of coming in and out, but it's getting really windy. So to my left, this is Princess Anne. Princess Anne is only on her 2nd year's growth, but she's looking really lovely, isn't she? She has bright pink flowers that come out in clusters like that. And a really healthy rose. Next to her in the center here, I have Olivia Rose Austin. For some reason, my Olivia Rose Austin is not doing as great. I lost a couple of main branches or main stems in the winter. So even though she's a year older than Princess Anne, she looks significantly smaller. But the blooms are, it's got a nice, softer shade of pink. Quite romantic blooms, but for some reason the blooms are not as big as the first year. I'm not sure why. But then this rose right here next to my Olivia Rose Austin, this is such a vigorous bloomer and grower. This is Princess Alexandra of Kent. It's a pink rose with a little bit of apricot center, and my goodness, the size of the blooms are pretty large. And it blooms prolifically. I look at the number of buds, you guys. This rose is going to be glorious for me. I love Princess Alexandra of Kent, and the stems are quite thick and strong. and they are able to hold the weight of the flowers with a little bit of support here and there. Like I have this like metal support for branches that have like a lot of flowers, because otherwise like they'll droop. And then not too far from my container of Princess Alexandra of Kent, I have this evergreen magnolia tree. This is a variety called K. Paris. Nice and glossy green leaves. I see a couple of flower buds here that should be opening up here really soon. And right next to it, I have some more flowers growing in containers. Down here, this is a white Spanish lavender. It's got white tips, but it has like these purple little, I'm not sure what you call this, like little bracts. So it's kind of like mostly white with a little bit of purple. And I have it growing in front of this white rose called Desdemona. Desdemona is a delicate little white rose that has like cup-shaped or chalice-shaped blooms. Beautiful. On each side, I've got containers of catmint. And there's that corner for me. Now, before I say goodbye, let me walk back to this section real quick, because I just remember that I have a white rose that has really large, beautiful blooms that I totally forgot to show you. And it would be such a shame, because this is such a magnificent rose. This is Shirley's Bouquet. And check out that flower, you guys. Definitely bigger than my hand. And I remember coming out here to admire this particular bloom on Friday or Saturday, which was like almost 5 days ago. And the fact that it's still here on the branch, it doesn't look like it's about to fade anytime soon, because the petals still feel like nice and thick. So it means that the blooms last for quite a while. And the stems are thick and strong and sturdy. They're able to hold the weight of the flowers. On the other side of my container, Shirley's Bouquet, I have this summer blooming heather in this container right next to a container of annual geraniums. I never knew that heather could bloom in the summer. I thought they were strictly like winter blooming plants. But when I came across these at Lowe's, or could be Home Depot, last year, I had to, you know, like buy a few, and I have one more growing on the other side as well, but this one is a little bit more purple than the other. And I have this right here growing next to this container of impatiens. Impatiens is such a good shade loving plant, and I have to grow something that is okay with shade here, because I have, you know, this ceanothus that is growing quite big, and it's blocked out the sun for most part of the day, and impatiens do really well here. Alrighty, I think that concludes our little backyard flower garden tour in the summer of 2023. One of the best things about having a garden, I think, apart from the striking beauty of the flowers, is the fact that it is ever changing. I can come out here at different months of the year or different weeks of the month, and things will never look the same. And I never get bored in my garden. And also, one of the best things about that is the fact that you don't really have to do a lot of the work. Mother Nature does it all for you. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed walking through my little garden with me today. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful summer in your own garden. And if you don't have a garden and you're thinking of starting one, don't wait. It's such a rewarding experience. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and happy gardening. Bye.